morning from Wonder Worker Farms. It's another day, another great day, a day that's been blessed by God. It's also a day when we discover all the peoples who's lived here before, all of their good ideas. I've been upstairs in the crawling through the attic, trying to chase down some wires. And let me tell you, there's a lot of good ideas up in that attic. Good ideas that I probably will have to end up fixing at some point. But that's the nature of getting this kind of house. You inherit what people have done before you, and sometimes it's right, and sometimes it makes your head scratch, but that's just kind of where we're at. You can hear my puppy in the background, Chewy. He's barking away because he's been kenneled up for this morning. We're moving some debris in and out of the house, and we didn't want him to get loose and go for a run on this big property we got here. Let's take a look. I'll show you some of the things that we're working on today. Okay, as we've traced down our wiring issue, you can see that this, again, is one of those things that falls into the category of good ideas that I'm going to have to fix. William and Ethan are going to help, but they don't know it yet. So you can see how they ran the wires through the ceiling. They didn't even bother to go up through the wall. It's kind of interesting because there's no drywall here, it's just paneling. So they could have just easily carefully notched the paneling, ran the wires in the wall, and then put the paneling back over it to conceal it. But they did not. They just chose to go up through the drywall. The ceiling down here, it's kind of hard to see back here. I think the smiley face is supposed to be something funny, but you see they ran it into the box through the, put a hole in it, and then tied it into its own breakers. And so we're going to remove one of these, because what they did is they tied into the attic lights from this line as well. So I want the attic lights to stay, but we're going to route it properly. I mean, this whole place is going to get drywalled anyway, so we're going to remove the paneling, fix the issues that are behind. You can see another fun fact, they left a bunch of canned food in there for us. I suspect we're not going to eat that. Maybe Ethan will. Alright, and we're back. We've got repair made. What we ended up needing to do was we installed a new power line using some of the existing cable that we pulled out of the barn fiasco, the power fiasco with the barn. And so I just went and cut this panel out, and again we're going to pull all the paneling out and do some drywall. As you can see, we ran it up through the top plates and then up into the attic the way that it's supposed to. We'll go up in the attic at a later point and staple it all up into place, because we've got some other work that we're going to end up doing up there as well. But you see we dropped down and then wired it in appropriately to the second to the bottom breaker there. A little cobwebby in there, we'll clean that out as well. Alright, we are on the north side of the property. This is the northwest corner of the house, and we're facing back towards the east. You can see there's an air conditioning unit there. As I said, I've been up in the attic, a little bit of prep work for our HVAC guy and our roofing guys as well. And one of the issues we've run into here is that over the course of the life of this house, there has been 5 different kinds of satellites installed. And of course, this is the classic 1980s satellite dish. I think they must have modeled this off of Star Wars and the Millennium Falcon. Remember, on top of the ship it had its own radar dome or whatever it was called. Well, we've got our own in the backyard here, and it's one of the things that's going to have to come down. But like this satellite and a lot of the other satellites that were here, the ones that are these size, there's a couple more like this, and a couple of the smaller ones, they ran wires for it externally on the house. You can kind of see there's some remnants of it hanging down. And we went and traced all those wires back yesterday. We cut them all loose and removed them from the side of the house because they are no longer useful, and quite frankly, they're just ugly. One of the other issues that I discovered is this beautiful little set of wires here. Coming out of one of the roof vents on the soffit side here, on the overhang, you can see two cables coming out of there, 2 wires. They're both probably 12-2 Romex, and you can see that this was used to power up the barn, or I guess we're calling a barn. I think the guy had a couple RVs and he parked his RVs in here. So down the road we'll have some plans for this, like turning the other side over there into a sawmill. But we will definitely have this place rewired because this is just kind of scary. When I was up in the attic crawling around trying to figure out where these 2 wires went and how to identify them and how to disconnect them from the power source without creating an electrical problem or a fire problem, I've discovered that, there's some safety issues with some of the wiring stuff that we're going to just go ahead and deal with today. I did trace them back to the panel, but you can see like there's some shady work going on up there in terms of electricity. And you can see how on the yellow cable, the casing itself has been stretched and no doubt from being pulled on either through the house or as it has dangled out here, probably due to the elements of the wind and the storms and things like that. And what a fire hazard that is. It's hard to see, but there was also a drywall screw that was used to hold up the vent screen. You can see there's drywall screws in there. And there's another look at remnants of satellite stuff and whatever else that is, phone cable. But that screw just barely missed that gray cable. So thankfully it did, or they would have probably had a fire in here a long time ago. So we're gonna work at reducing that stuff. And so that's one of our jobs for today. But it's a beautiful day here in the great state of Mississippi. You see the sun is shining in a typical Gulf state. We get rain on and off throughout the day, but everything's lush and green. Ethan got on the tractor earlier and did a little bit of mowing. We've got plenty of big old live oak trees here that are just amazing. We'll have to get up and do some pruning. You can see there's some what they call those rotted limbs, call them widow makers. As people walk through the woods, they fall out of the tree, and the end result is not too great. Lots of cleanup. Found another burn pile of theirs. Looks like they've burned a mattress. A bunch of other stuff. There's a propane tank in there too. Not sure what happened when they lit that off, but we will definitely be taking care of that. We got the first of our 30-yard dumpsters coming hopefully later this week, and we are just going to fill that thing to capacity, have them come pick it up and probably drop off one more, and that'll help us get rid of a lot of this stuff that's been left behind. I suspect we'll need a third one because there literally is just a lot of stuff. And unfortunately, as I found out in the attic, there's more up in the attic as well. But that's what we have going on here for today. Thanks for joining us, and may God be praised.